Wow, I'm blown away at the amount of damage on this rafter, all because of one pipe boot with a couple of nails installed in the wrong spot. Now, it's a very costly repair bill to fix this issue because of 4 nails. If you're new to the channel, my name is Brian with Grand Roofing. I share what I know here for you guys, the homeowners, the DIYers, the people that want to save some money and just feel good about doing things themselves. I take the years of knowledge I have and share it here for you guys in a short video to learn how to do it so you know what you're getting into. If you like it, give it a quick thumbs up, subscribe so you know when other content's coming. But we're going to jump to the beginning of the video, see how we got to this point so you can have a successful roof repair yourself. All right, if you got a leaking vent pipe, something going on with it causing the wood to rot out down below, we're going to get in here and do this as an uncut, unedited video to get the shingles taken out, the pipe boot removed, any of the shingles in the affected area where the wood is rotten, put a piece of wood in, ice and water, shingles, pipe boot, clean up and get out of here. Start to finish for you guys. If you could, on the way, and give it a quick thumbs up. All right, so a few things you're gonna need, start to finish real quick. We're gonna need the material to put it back. So you're gonna have an idea of what you're after. Pipe boot down below it. It's about a 4-foot sheet of wood high, possibly a little bit more. Does not need to be a full sheet, just rafter to rafter or jumping a rafter or whatever is bad, that in a little farther to where it can rest on something solid. Any synthetic paper, ice and water, anything under that, and then the shingles to put it back. So from start to finish, know in that area, got a sheet of wood down there as an extra. I've got another full one in the truck. Ladder to get up here, standoffs, make sure you're safe and everything. The bundle to put it back, it's going to be closest to driftwoods, what this looks like. It's a bit aged. A couple of starter rows for the very bottom. If I have to get down into that, chances are I will, because that rotten sheet goes down to the bottom. Ice and water to cover it back up. The pipe boot to put it back on. We're not using the old. We're going to replace it with an aluminum one. So from start to finish, take it down. Sheet of wood, ice and water, starter row, shingles, pipe boot. Seal it down, clean up, and get out of here. Tools needed, something to shoot your decking nails down, or hand nail and a hammer. In this case, I love the AJC mag hatchet. It's got an embedded neodymium magnet. You'll see that maybe. DeWalt tool bag. It's all down in the truck, but my most used are going to be the leaf blower to clean up and the skill saw to cut. Charger down there charging. Air nailer to put it back. Batteries. Nails for the wood. Nails for the shingles. And let's get at it. Flat bar, we're gonna start here. We're gonna need to get this shingle out, this loose, split right here. Popping out pretty easy. This roof does have some age on it for sure. I don't know anything about the roof or how old it actually is. And my videos aren't about, oh, turn it into insurance. I could have got that bought. You know, I've done that. I work with insurance too, but I don't turn in worn out roofs to insurance. Look at that, that's not even nailed. There's no nail in this. Unless it's, oh, it's right there, hidden. These shingles are pretty aged. We're about to see what's going on with it. It's falling apart. Well, they're not cracking. They're just the adhesive is just splitting. Alright, just trying to get in there, get that first set of nails out. Once you get the first set of nails out, it goes pretty easy from there. If you're a homeowner, I encourage you to take a minute to make sure that your nails are out as you go, so you don't have a problem down the road. Because if it's not out or it's not driven down, it could easily pop through the shingles when the next warm season comes. And if you're a contractor or learning, just take a little bit of time. Don't rush it, don't leave it. Don't act like your stuff is better than anyone's and it'll never leak. I promise over time, it easily could. For those that are questioning the nail holes, those are going to be covered. When you put your shingles down, it's going to cover all these. And I'll explain as we go. So looking at the top of this flange, you can see where it's dried, diverted the water. Right here could have been up a little bit. These are the issues. Nothing on here is cracked. People do say that this is the weak link. Yes, it is. I can tell you this roof, I would estimate to be probably anywhere between 12 and 20 years old, 15 years old maybe, given the look and the age of this. But looking at that here, you can see it starting to crack a little bit at the top, but it's not bad. Hopefully my view is in here. So it's not terrible. This is definitely the weak link, but that's not gonna cause a huge bad problem if it breaks. I've seen these punctured really bad, torn and cracked, gone. The rain that hits the roof runs down and is protected by it raised up. The only water that would leak in here is what's hitting the pipe and running down. So don't panic about that. It's the same stuff as the plastic one here, is the aluminum. Where the aluminum is versus plastic, that's much better. The rubber is the same as this, but that's the weak link. I don't care what other vent pipes there are. I'm not a fan of the plastic on the roof deck. Try to do more of that video on roofing components like vents, aluminum vents, ridge vent, plastic pipe boots, aluminum, steel, various things like that this winter, hopefully, at the shop. So if you aren't subscribed, click the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you're notified when they do post. Let's get this popped out and we'll see if my diagnosis is true. Completely dry everywhere up here. The leak is right where I said, right here. Now on your shingles you're taking out, some of you might be like, okay, well, how far do you go? Where do you stop? Where do you start? I kind of hopefully covered the part where you start. You got to get the pipe boot out, so we're starting there. As far as how far left and right, you need to get past your rotten wood. That's the first thing. Notice I'm getting all the nails as I go here. You don't want nails near a shingle drip groove, a keyway, a butt joint here, because over time those are going to rust out. Cause a similar issue too. So right now, I'm just kind of following the pattern here, but you can jump back. There's a couple things you got to watch for. We're ultimately wanting to get past the rotten piece of wood. It looks like a rafter and a rafter, so they're probably on 16-inch centers, so I may not need to go super far. Over here to here, about a 4-foot section. You'll see more when I get it opened up here. Cover the pattern here real quick in a second. Let's just cut this real quick and get an idea of where that wood starts and stops. Right there, right here, down 4 feet. Some of this is just kind of soaking up from these nails where the issue has been going on. You can see under the vent pipe, flashing part there, through the shingle that was here and into this one, still getting a lot of debris under here. So imagine another shingle here, right? And your flashing flange. It's soaking down that nail. Nothing should get under that, right? If it doesn't leak. Well, what's getting these dirty spots right here? The other thing is a keyway, based on where you shift your vent pipe up under the vent pipe and the flashing. You don't want a keyway there. Now in this case it's covered because it's on top of this, but sometimes people will start the last row of shingles and then the vent pipe too far down. They don't run up high enough. This one was up high enough, but if what happens in the case if you have two shingles come together under that flashing flange, the shingle here, it only goes up that high, so anything getting in this, here, let me give you a visual. I've seen people get a shingle under just this here, and then they'll nail this down. All right, let me give you a better visual, because I see this a lot. Come on, get this out of here. It's going to take me a minute. I want to kind of show you this real quick because I see this way too often. Get these stupid nails out of here. I hate plastic vent pipes. You got to wonder when a contractor says, oh, they're fine, they're good, they're great. They're saving a buck or two, and they're going to leave you with the issue in years to come. Over a couple bucks. It's stupid. All right. So some people get just this row of shingles under, and then their thought is water's gonna run off and they're gonna cover this. Two things: water diverting around here, if it comes off this little piece of flashing flange, it's on your roof deck. If that's not the issue and it runs off here and you have a split right here under it, it's gonna come in this crack and it's gonna be on your roof deck. Those are two issues that I see most common when people don't run under far enough. My rule of thumb is get your shingle top at the backside or slightly higher. You just kind of got to draw that line, use your judgment, your gut, your instinct, and if you've done it enough and you see this, or you know, you're gonna know when to make that call. If you're a DIYer, just look at this and use some common sense and think, okay, if it's under far enough, what could happen? If water gets in here, what could happen? Or just take my word on that. That's not far enough under. Definitely not good with a keyway. Far enough under. If water comes off of this, get that nail out of there. Right? It's now on a shingle. That's what you want. This, not what you want. This, definitely not what you want. So I just want to take a few minutes to show you this because that is a huge common issue on installs and leaks that I go find. Man, these shingles should not come apart that easy. I was going to show you something over there, but I'll probably show you right here. It's a little better example to show you. So we only need to go far enough to get our work done and our wood out. If the wood is good here, we're going to start splitting our stagger pattern down this side. What you're after is noting where this nail is and this nail is. We could cut this shingle right here as long as it's at least 5 inches off of this. There's not another one within 5 inches below it. Or the other thing to keep in mind is the nails under it. You don't want to cut this where it exposes a nail below it. So I could cut one here and it's about that 5-inch mark off. I'll show you on this one just because it's a good opportunity to show you. A few inches off. Well, not a few. It's about 5 inches off. 5 inches away. This one's getting a little close. That's why I wanted to show you here. You could seal it. You could put a wing of ice in water. There's other various things you can do. In this case, I'm just going to trim it back farther. Keeping in mind you don't get close enough to another keyway here. Right here is a good spot. These shingles have seen better days. So right here, nail, that's a good spot. Another drip groove is far enough over. Man, these shingles. For those contractors out there, yes, this roof is aged, I understand. What you don't understand or don't know, though, is that I have talked to the owner and the contacts here at this property, and they're aware of the condition of the roof. Just trying to get a little time. It's winter, it's not a good time to get a roof done, but they want to get this leak stopped, and it's been going on for a while. Let's see how far over this stuff is. Okay, right there. Dang, my tape's in the truck. We'll verify if it's on 16th here in a second. If it is, the next one's going to be about right here. So I can either lift those and cut it. We'll get there in a minute. Gonna go down this side here real quick. We're gonna take this one out a little farther. I know I'm gonna need to go a little farther to get this one. I guess we're taking that one out too. Let's finish prepping this one here. Any of the work that we're doing that we're not actually taking out, like the new stuff will seal. We're gonna make sure any of the old tying into the new, that transition area is sealed off when we're done. So any of these that are loose, we're gonna seal all that down. Farther here toward that shingle. I gotta spit, pardon me. It's cool weather, making my nose run a lot. As you get down near the bottom, be cautious, be careful. You don't want to fall off, get hurt. Now this is going to be a bit of a step over, not a big deal, but the benefit is if I just go to this, it's a full shingle right here and I'm done, and I should be out of the area where the shingles are bad. So just get this yanked out. Right here. So we're down to the bottom. We're gonna need to get down here to get the piece of wood out. Grab my mag and just kind of clean up a little bit so those aren't falling all over the place. No ice and water on the bottom. This is a good kind of indicator in our area of how old this is. A lot of guys here have been for at least 15 years now putting ice and water down on the bottom. Unless you're a cheap contractor and you don't do it. This is wet, real bad. No, it is going to be on 24-inch center. Alright, so we're going to have to go to this rafter over here, that rafter over there. It's going to be about a 4 to 6 foot piece we're going to have to do. Take out one more shingle here. We'll have to fight it as much this way. it is right there. Trim just a little off of this. We're still gonna have plenty of room. It's just gonna be easier. I don't have a helper here to hold this stuff up out of the way. I do apologize if you can't see at all times. The camera's not in view. You're gonna have to get the nails out of the ice, or I'm sorry, not the ice, the edge metal at the bottom here, because you're gonna have to get that sheet yanked out. So if you see any nails within the wood, get those out. And then we're gonna prep the other side down, get it ready to receive the new piece of wood, and start putting it back. The prep always takes a little more. One last thing to prep here so we don't lose our carbide teeth is any of these nails. That is the job for my cat's claw or extractor, exhumer, whatever you want to call it. A good point to put a shameless plug in on the description section, where you can usually find a lot of the links to the most common used, most valuable tools, like the ladder standoff, the AGC mag hatchet. I don't have this in there, but I'm gonna have to start doing that. Just the tools that I use on a regular, everyday occasion. Hitachi air nailer, things like that. Just one of these can knock off several carbide teeth. And then you're not able to cut good. It warps your blade because it's overheating. And just you're fighting it. It's not good. Time is money. Good. Hopefully I got chalk in it. Find that nail, you know that nail should be pretty good. I'd rather cut twice than screw up, or measure twice and cut once. There's different ways of saying it, but basically if you cut too far that way, you're gonna have to go farther to catch the next rafter or put a nailer in. So if you buzz one and you realize you got to trim it, just trim it some more. It's not a big deal. Ultimately, you'd like to do it in the center for one quick go at it, but I'm gonna look at the battery power here real quick. We're 30 minutes in. Battery's a little low. We're going to try to get a few more minutes on this battery. All right, so that rafter about right here, right there. That's the goal of where I need to get to. Stagger from here over. Because there's no nails here, well, I got a keyway right there, it's too far We'll keep this trimmed here, trim this one back a little farther, right here in that area. You know, it's so small, I'm just going to take the keyway, just saw it right there. The other drip groove, the other factory edge. Just going to go right there. Simple enough. But I don't want to keep going down that way. It's a good spot to note that's where that is. You've probably seen me put the flat bar under there. That's a little trick I came up with years ago. On hot summer days, it's easy to cut and damage the shingle below you. It doesn't take much at all. So, right here, just trim this a little bit. It's gonna give us enough offset here, but yet we still have plenty here. But it doesn't cut your shingle underneath. That's a little crooked cut there. Straighten that up just a wee little bit. Make sure this isn't my wife on lunch calling for something. Nope, I'll call him back. Hopefully leave a message. Yeah, that's a good thing to point out too. People, some companies are massive and pay somebody to sit at a desk all day. Maybe they get 100 calls a day and they can afford that. I'm a smaller company, a little mom and pop, built this myself. I don't pay somebody to sit around at the shop. I try to answer when I can. In this case, I'm actually doing a recording, a video. I'll try to call that back. But if you're somebody calling and the place you're calling does not answer, just leave a quick voicemail. It does go a long way. If you can't leave a voicemail, it must not be too important. But hopefully you understand and see our point inside of things. That's a big complaint that I get where people don't answer their phone. I always try to, but sometimes I can't. I'm on a roof, I'm going up and down a ladder. Just leave a quick message. Breeze is blowing things down there now. Catching the edge down there. Should be good there. Do a quick little tidy up with the nailer or the magnet to get the nails out. Get the skill saw, cut this, address any of the rottenness in there if we can, and we're ready to getting that piece of wood put back. I do apologize here in a second. I'm gonna have to blow my nose. It's gonna be gross. This 2x4 definitely is gonna need a nailer put in. I've got one on the truck. Repair work like this, I anticipate that and bring them. Kind of eyeballing the depth here a little bit. I'll just plunge in, go up, turn, and come down. We're gonna go through that just a little bit. The last little bit of that I could probably chisel out with the flat bar. I mean, it's not gonna hurt this unless you want to take it loose all the way, or you could cut it. Typically, I mean, this would be no different than if you have a lap. You're just gonna offset it, shift it a little bit. I can't do that because I can't stretch it. Go get the edge metal stretcher, I guess. But anyway, it's not gonna be a problem if you nip it. I'm gonna have the ice and water down over all that. It's gonna seal all that off. Should be good there. There it is. Sometimes your depth, if you're going over shingles and stuff, you're gonna want to set it a little bit deeper because this guard is raised up from those shingle pieces there. And then right here, just chip it away. You can also use a sawzall, reach up under there and cut too. You see how this was a little far that way because I was going off of their nail. Man, that's gone. Just making sure no nails anywhere. Everything under here is good so the sheet can slide in. I'm not gonna have to fight it. The majority of this that is real bad, I'm gonna try to get out of here. Because it is wet from the rain we got. We had snow here the other day. It's really cold. That melted and we had a day of rain. So I didn't note anything or tell or talk to anything on the inside rotten wise. I'm gonna address this though to what I can, but I'm not gonna take so much. I mean, typically if this was my house and I was gonna do it, or it was discussed ahead of time, I would clear out a big area of all the rotten stuff and go get some cellulose or insulation blowed in. In this case, I'm just gonna get the wet spot out so it's not gonna have such a chance of, this is an old side here, it's dry, molding up and getting gross. But then I'm going to try to rake in and just pull some of that over. Right here's the seal plate, the top seal. So from here in is conditioned space. We're going to try to cover this area. That's soffit. You don't want to mess that up. It goes over. And that can change based on the size of overhang you have. That's the majority of the wet stuff. Some of that's dry and old. It's been going for a while. Let me see if I can just take a little bit from other areas. Not rob it from another area, but just scatter it loosely, kind of fill that area. Just raking a little bit and kind of conditioning it. I'm not a fan of cellulose. It settles too much. It's a cheap product. It's organic fiber, newspaper, cardboard, and they treat this with chemicals to make it less flammable, which can be corrosive to things inside. Another good point too, if you're blowing insulation in your attic, you're a DIYer, or you think more the better, more inside is good, yes, but you do not want to restrict your airflow right here. There's probably only a couple of plugs of ventilation. You should have air inlets. Where the air inlets are, you want it to be able to breathe and come up. You never want to pack it full of insulation to close that off. You want hot air to rise out, cool air to come in. So if you are going to have a tight area here, put a baffle in. It's like an egg carton foam stuff. It'll cross up under this cavity, and just, if I can, I'll plug a picture in editing up on the screen for you guys. But it allows you to blow insulation in there and not let it overflow, clog your soffit inlets, or pack up tight to restrict airflow from coming through. It's pretty important. All right, let's check this real quick. All right, we are back. I cleaned up the area, got all the nails cleaned up, put in the bucket, taken down, just so I'm not grinding into the roof, stuff blowing off. The breeze picked up a little bit, so I do apologize for the audio if it's blowing across the microphone. We're ready to put this back. I've done nothing else to this other than bring the material up I need. So we're going to start by getting the nailer put in here to scab to that, and get our wood cut down to plug into, and then start putting everything else back. We're probably midway through the repair, but the second half, putting it back, actually goes quite a bit faster here. So right here, all we're after is getting up under this just a little bit down to the bottom right there. We're going to cut this down to maybe about here. Nothing special needs to be done with it. We're just going to cut it down to a working size so I can get it in there and kind of get that face right there made. I don't know that I've got my speed square, not speed square, my rafter tail sliding T-bevel, there we go, up here, but we'll make it work. We're just going to get this in here, kind of eyeball it. What we're after is we ultimately want it flush right here for that, and flush with the top of this, so we need to go down. And if it's larger lumber or 2x4, somehow the way they're built, you need to notch this right here. In this case, I don't need to. We should be able to put it right in, but I do want to make this a little bit better of a vertical look here, so I can actually just have it fit tight and flush to that, maybe try to toenail into it. So just holding it here, we're going to just draw a line and mark it. Typically, if you're doing much of this or a lot of it, I will have a sliding T-square, T-bevel, and it just makes this part a little easier. But in this case, we're just going to scribe it essentially, holding to that and going vertically right up. That should get me close. We can always trim it a little bit if needed. So the sliding T works really good. It just comes up onto here, twists down to intersect to this. You tighten it down and you transfer it to a piece of wood. If it's just one little piece, not a huge deal. You can usually do it relatively simple like that. There you go, right there like that. This is a little high, but you can see that one over there is a little high. So that's actually honestly pretty good. We're gonna get the framing gun put in, hooked up and ready to put this in. Make sure I'm not squishing anything right here. There's a nail right there. We're gonna try to drive back a little bit. There it is. Get this and some more 16s put in. We are going to use 16s for the decking. You see me pull it back. My other Bostage drops in and you pull it back to lock it. This just shoves in, pull it back. Let's grab the air hose and try to get this back pretty quick for you guys. Keep a little twist out of this. There we go, got enough air hose. Alright, it's down far enough. We're gonna just shoot one in up top here real quick. The exhaust is blowing in insulation out everywhere. Try to get it driven in. You got to be careful now, like this is drywall, so you don't want to shoot into the sidewall, but we're going to try to drive it right down to the top seal plate right here, just to help hold that in. Also, I like to try to put some nails at opposing angles. It doesn't matter. Instead of just straight in, it, under a heavy load can peel off. So if you put a couple of nails in, like if here's your wood, the next piece is going to it, put a nail in this way, a nail up from it, or at an angle this way, it kind of helps keep that wood locked in. So it doesn't take a lot. Honestly, I've seen some paperwork from an engineer that paid some homeowner, an engineer charged a homeowner, I think it was like $300, $400 to make a one-page document to say that an engineer structural approved repair is taking a piece of lumber next to it and sistering it next to it with 16s, or you can carriage bolt it, lag bolt it, whatever. Honestly, it's not a huge load bearing issue. It's more so to hold this deck right here. So anyway, you can toenail right here or this way, but I'm not taking all the fascia metal off. I will say be careful going through this way. If you're at too much of an angle with a long nail, you're gonna go right into your gutter. So it's fine, it's not a big deal. We are gonna put one, but we're gonna put it at a very shallow angle so it can catch this piece of lumber but not poke through anything. All right, we're ready to get the wood put in. So it doesn't matter what side you pull from. If something's crooked, as long as you transfer it to a new piece of wood, you're good. So let's go over to here, button to that, come over to here. We're at 4 foot, 48 inches. So check this one, it's probably a little crooked. So it's a little more, this rafter is probably off. The cut is crooked, or that cut could be crooked, or a combination of everything in between. Either way, bottom is 48 inches. The top, we're gonna go about 49. And we can trim it if we need. 48, 49 by 4 foot. Let's go make our mark on this piece of wood. We're gonna keep the factory edge on that end because it's straighter. The side closest to me is gonna be the crooked one. So we're gonna transfer our marks on here in that same order. 48 on the bottom, 49 on the top. Chalk line. I need to refill that. I'm gonna check our depth because I haven't changed the depth from earlier. So to get through it, no problem. And don't cut your other area of the roof, you're going to be doing more of a repair that you didn't sign up for. Here we go. There it is. We're gonna have to notch that pipe out just a little bit too. So I'll show you how to do that. It's not gonna take much at all. So for the pipe, we're just gonna line it up real quick. I'm not dropping the sheet in everywhere. And by that's gonna be very small, like a 1/4 inch small. Probably good. Just dry fit the top real quick. Good. All right, lift it up and get it under your metal down here. Need to get this to go up and over just a little bit. It actually might be hitting in the middle right there. So if that's the case, what we're going to do is we're going to trim this edge. Let's get it up and in on that edge. Come on. This is where a helper would be a little bit of a help. Actually, I see what's going on. Right here's lined up. We're hitting the middle right there, so this side's just got a little bit of a kink in it, because this actually has to go down and that side needs to go over. Right there is what we want. We're going to tack this into position when I get it up here. It's this little piece right here. Just want to see what exactly where it's at. About a 1/4 inch right here. One more 16 to get out. Get that little chunk of wood knocked that way. Should go a little bit better now. I'm just trying to get it up a little bit. There we go. I'm hitting down there. If we need to trim that a little, we can. A little gap here is not a big deal. Obviously, if you're resheeting a house, you don't want gaps like that, but we're just cutting a piece in here. That's the old wood. I need to hit the new wood right there. Don't forget to shoot this side down. You took the nails out of it all. I'm going to take a saw blade out of that. You don't want it that tight. Any moisture will cause that to buckle. Same on this side, took those nails out. Use this open one up first. All right, we're ready to put it back now. Ice and water. Shingles. Pipe boot when we're ready for it. A couple little pieces fell in there. Paper. Just make sure the metal is back where it needs to be. Shoot it off. You can use synthetic, you can use ice and water, you can use black paper, whatever. You just want to cover it back up. In the summer, line this up first, because as soon as you pull that in the summer, it's going to stick. It'll be a mess. You want to cross the paper and anything you had taken out. You want to get onto that edge metal. We're actually going to go down a little further on that edge metal, like I said earlier in the video. Just get under your shingle, get it started. Be careful going on to stuff that's not fastened off. One nail there, we're gonna overlap that starter. Not be an issue, and yes, I'm gonna drive it down here in a second or remove it. Just getting this into position. The other piece of starter is going to lap over under this to kind of lap it a little bit more. It's not going to be a problem. Far enough right, far enough left, far enough up. In this case, we got a pipe here. We're just gonna notch it around the pipe. I just don't want to go so far under I'm fighting nails here. And then for this, we're just gonna slice the paper at an angle a little bit so we can tuck under it. Same over here, we're far enough, should be away from any nails. And that's already cut right there from whoever installed it. So we're just gonna try to get up under this. It's not gonna be pretty. We're doing a repair. This isn't a new install. You do wanna do your best, but it's brittle. It's very brittle. All I'm doing is just shoving it up under there. So you can see where I slid it, right? Well, it was cut, otherwise I would have cut it like that. There it is. Let's nail this side off. All right. We're ready to put this stuff back now. Looks like just 2 of them should do it. Absolutely hate these kind of gutter guards. We're gonna just cross under. We're gonna go over the other one to cover any of that damaged hole, give it some seal strip here. That one's far enough over. I want to show you where to nail this stuff. Flush with the shingle there. You don't ever want to hang it flush with your edge mill. You usually want to hang it down a little bit. All right, your shingles. Get an idea where this one's going to break. So you want to make sure you have enough stagger pattern from any slice like that, which is good. So you don't want to nail in that area, but you do want to nail these off low enough to stay stuck down. Obviously you don't want to shoot the bottom because you're going to hit your edge metal, and this is drip edge hanging down too far. So shoot that area, it's going to stay tight. Keep it away from that one, then you can put this in. Flush off of that, keep it down there where it's going to tie in right. Don't nail here because it's going to shift that way. Next keyway is going to go in that area. Right to the shingle edge here. Put it on the reveal, the build up. It's going to shift over again that way. So again, don't nail that area. If the pattern shifts directions, you just don't want to shoot this area because the next keyway would be right there. Nail it down good. Corner right there, right here. Shoot this. Don't forget to check that. That one's good. We're gonna seal this stuff down, because if you try to take this one out, you're probably gonna break something free on this, and so on and so forth, and you'd be doing the whole thing. I'll come back and seal all that down. I don't like doing it while I'm going unless it's something crucial that I don't want to forget. The reason is if you do it while you're going, chances are it's gonna goo out and you're gonna kneel in it. It's gonna get all over you. Make a mess. That one did not do what it was supposed to. I'm running the compressor, the Boss Stitch pancake compressor, off of a battery pack because no one's home to let me plug it into power outlets, and I think I may have tripped it. Yeah, we're losing air. I haven't heard it kick on. Let's go up one more right here so I can get ready for the pipe boot. As far as piecing these in, just use a knife to mark your location with a butt here to that, so you're getting your width on it. I actually want my sharp straight blade. Find that mark. Just score it as straight as you can. And then snap it. In the hot summer, it's so much easier. Don't cut your work under you. And if you're using something with a cloth or like a Dynasty, a Tamco, or Duration, those can get caught on your knife. You're just gonna have to cut through them. I gotta check the air, see what's going on. Yeah, definitely air's out. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I had to find a location for power because my battery pack went dead. So luckily there was one in the back I could plug into. It won't take a lot to finish this up right here. Get my gloves back on and we'll get this wrapped up. Oh, I'll probably use that scrap piece right here. Sure can. All I'm doing right here, just a little tip. It's a small tip, but hey, anything you can do to help. Button this right here, that's gonna be my cut. I'm cutting through two pieces, the double thickness, the shim and the piece right here. If I simply just shift it here, I'm cutting through one. So just a simple little shift like that. When you do this enough, you'll be aware to keep an eye on that. Over the course of a day and cutting through stuff, it's so much easier to cut through one. Don't be that guy that just leaves that laid over. There's a lot of companies I've seen, people, contractors be lazy like that. Just trim it. Ah, that's what I'm talking about with these things. my knife keep getting switched like that? I didn't nail that because if this is bigger, no, it's smaller. If it was bigger right here and the shingle is too small, I'd have to piece one in. So I just was anticipating so I could show you not to nail that area until you know. Alright, we're going to trim for this pipe using a hook blade. You just want the shingle to lay down. You want to be up at or past the back of that. That's where you're going to use that judgment call. Some of these pipe boots, they're got a mark where you can cut to a larger pipe. This is factory 3, cut to a 4. It's a 3-inch pipe. If it's PVC pipe, don't just go pushing down. If you're a homeowner, be cautious. If it's PVC, you could crack a fitting, or if it comes down and tees off into other areas, it's easy to break something and not know it until you get condensation dripping in or freezing things. So just be careful and hold it. Cast iron, copper, they usually go straight down and they're solid. All right, line that up just so it's kind of straight. If you are concerned about the gap here, the shingle not going high enough, you can always add some ice and water extensions up above that. It's pretty good. We're also going to put a thin bead of sealer under this. So right here is where I like to actually just put a nail on the bottom, or you can do 2. One's fine right here, but the water splitting is never going to get this. It's only what's hitting it. We also are going to seal the top of that. All of the issues arise from water coming in right here. That's all because of that. This row of shingles is going to go to about right here. The pipe boot itself is different than the other one. The other one was under here, and honestly it was under too far, and water was running down that edge, getting into the nails they had on the bottom. So you can avoid all that by this right there. So that butt here, far enough over, it's good to go in. Nail it off. Trying to be very careful with these shingles because they're breaking so easy. We're just going to look here, butt up, should be good to trim right here or drop it down right there like that, so we know our width is going to be good overall. Ooh, that got a little crooked. Time to change this knife blade, but I don't have any more in it. I really don't want to go down to the truck because the repair is almost done. So for marking your pipe, this is a simple way of doing this. Just put your shingle to the nearest butt joint. You wouldn't want to butt it way out there. You can butt it right here. Because if you're going to butt it out here, it's room for error. So simply do that. You're just going to mark from this edge up a little bit. Just make a little note, whether it's a pencil mark or a cut or anything, because ultimately it's going to be cut. And then from the center, okay? So now that you got your edges and your centers, or just a reference, you're going to put it onto your buildup, your reveal line here. You're just going to note how high up you're going to have to go. So from your center mark, about that high right here. So you can just simply cut it. You can always cut a little less and then recut more if you need. When it's warm, this works a whole lot easier. Switch bleeds out real quick. So I'm actually just going to eyeball this to give me some room. You're going to go for your target mark, which is about right there. Cloth can be hard. You can always trim it more. You can trim it again. I'm just trying to get some room here. If it's really cold, you can also use snips, shears, cutters, 10 snips. They're all going to cut through it good. So we're just kind of keeping an eye and a gauge on that. How much farther down? We're just going to trim. I'm not scoring through the aluminum or plastic, if it is plastic, whatever it is you're using. And then I'll show you something with the channel for water to run out. It's like cutting through butter when it's warm in summer. Sometimes when it's cold, I like to plant my hand and use my thumb to push, because if it breaks free, I'm not gonna go slipping and slicing into myself by pulling hard on it. Just a little tip. All right, you typically want to leave a little bit of a channel around this for water to run out and down. So we're gonna trim it just a little bit more right here. Oh, geez, almost sliced it bad right there. That's what happens now. If your leg was there, that wouldn't be good. Now that cut, it's not gonna really pose a problem because I'm gonna put sealer under it, and it's no different than if it was a keyway provided. There's no other keyway under it. But you don't wanna do that. It's just because it's cold, and it's hard to cut through this stuff. But you do want to have a little bit of a channel for water to come off of that. This next one should be a bit easier. They're both lined up with a thick part right there. I was hoping another one would be a thin part right there. We're just gonna eyeball right here. Right here. That's the center. And it's going to be that far up we need to go, so close to 3 inches. So close to 3 inches here. I like to just dry fit them so I'm not getting all that goopy goo under it oozing out everywhere. It is unbelievably harder when it's cold. I mean, it's doable. It's just so much easier when it's warm. think that's good. We're just using tar, wet stick, roof cement, or roof caulk. Cement caulk, roof cement caulk, whatever it is. There's different brands. This is just something they had. Now really all I'm after here is sealing under, there we go, here it comes, the shingle. And more so down this edge right here. This is one of those things, it's not absolutely necessary, but it's not going to hurt anything. Although that being said, you don't necessarily want to seal the pipe itself to the shingle, because you don't want to trap water. That's really not going to trap anything. It's to stop if it does want to back up. And more so that little small edge, it'll keep it funneled down in through there. So then just line it up here, line that up. Keep your nails away from this zone here. This one's not really necessary, but if you wanted to right there, it's not going to hurt anything. I'm going to hit that little part where I kind of tore just a little bit. It again would not hurt anything with that tear. Trimmed. Alright, so my shingle is done, but don't forget, to get that headlap tucked under, I had to split this one free too. So don't forget to nail that off. Any of the old nail holes that you might be wondering about, this shingle is solid up past that point. You don't necessarily have to hit the same nail hole. If you do, you risk it possibly not holding it down because it's already compromised. So shoot near it. We also spot those and seal those. Just want to point that out because people have asked about, do I hit the same nail, or I would have hit the same nail. I'm not a fan of it. I mean, if you want to shoot it, fine, but just know that it may be compromised because the hole is there. Not the hole from the shank, but the hole from the head is compromised when you're flat barring it apart, if that makes sense. Don't forget to check this side. Let me bring you in close, you can actually see it right here. You can see the granules under there from this part. Let me line this up to the bottom here to replicate how high that goes. So you can see it goes up to the top there, which is under that shingle. Let me move it over a little closer here. You can see how much higher up it goes from that. So just make sure you're nailed off. Everything's nailed. I didn't loosen that row. I shot this off. I shot the sides as I went. There's only one more thing we really need to do other than clean up here, and it's kind of important to show you, is the sealer. Anywhere that we worked, the new shingles will eventually seal down because it's got new sealer, but it's cold, so we're gonna dab those. The biggest issue, whether it's warm or not, is this right here. Any of these areas you split apart, we're gonna just go through and add a couple of dabs and sealer. I try to put the dabs near the nails. And this might sound repetitive if you see my old videos explaining why I don't seal that area or a big line, because it doesn't trap water, but for the new people watching, that is why. You don't want to squirt a solid line, because water coming in here could hit that and run laterally. Even if you look at a new shingle, most shingles should have a break in the tar right here. That is for that particular reason. If water comes in, when this is up here, in a keyway, and it wants to run laterally either direction, it should fall out of these little slits here. You never want a solid line. I just did that one. So this one. And then there's one more thing we're gonna do once I get across this top and then go down the sides individually. Is any of these that are loose, we're just gonna put a small dab under those as well and press them down so they don't blow off in the wind, because over time that will blow away unless you seal it down. So this top row, they're compromised. A little dab, any one of those that are broke. And then when I'm done, I'm going to walk this off and step on this to press all these down. Nail strip came free. That's where I was cutting that one. I'm gonna just kind of goop it and push it up in there. Didn't get under that one, but this one I did. So we're gonna do the same thing on the other side, but basically just push those down. So it's pushing the caulking out and around in those areas. It'll cover a bigger surface area, hold it down better. And also it's gonna lay flat and not dry and get hard in the raised up position. Shoot down this side. Can't believe how loose these shingles are. Oh, we're just about out of caulking here. I'm gonna have to go down and get more, but basically that is it. And then I'm gonna add a couple throughout the shingles just to help pin those down. That is it. We're probably a little long. I ran into some trouble, air hose issues, commentary of the video, showing you little tidbits here and there. We're at 22 minutes. 22 minutes in on this video. Probably busted an hour a little bit, but hey, I'm doing this for you guys. Normally I can get in here. I've done this for about 23 years. I know how long it takes, but I'm trying to bring you guys along so you can learn. It really does mean a lot if you give it a quick thumbs up. Not so much for me, but YouTube. Hey, that's good content. People are liking it. People are engaging. People are commenting. They'll recommend it to other people that this can help. That's all I ask, not for me, for the other people. Also, if I know you watched this far, you're a true fan, I definitely appreciate it. Let me know. Comment. Let's just do a really abstract one. Pancake compressor. Down below. I know you watched it to the end of the video. I do truly appreciate it. Until next time, be safe. We'll see you then.